Welcome to the Jonathan Van Bilsen Show, featuring lively, in-depth conversation with compelling guests from our community. And here is our host, Jonathan Van Bilsen.
Hello and welcome to this episode. My guest today is Janna Guido. She's been a councillor for the Township of Scugog for several years and has also been given the role of Deputy Mayor. We'll learn all about the challenges facing Janna in her career, as well as finding out the story behind the person. We'll be right back after these messages.
Top care with top stylists. Book your next hair appointment with Port Perry's award-winning hair salon, Rosario Greco Styles. The hair experience you deserve. Book today. Call 905-985-0099.
Not all Canadians have the time nor desire to manage their finances, and often that responsibility is up to financial professionals. Our goal is to help Canadian families achieve a happy and successful financial future. Visit us, the McClellan Financial Group of Asante Capital Management.
Welcome back. My guest today, as I mentioned, is Janna Guido. She's not only a councillor for the Township of Scugog, she's also the Deputy Mayor. Janna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
It's great because I've known you you've been on council now close to a dozen years.
Yeah, 10 years. This is my 10th year.
And I remember meeting you when you were first running before you were elected at a function or something, and you were talking about going to Italy on vacation. I think your husband is Italian, so I guess Italy is sort of in the cards a fair bit. Is that right?
It certainly is. I would take the kids there for summer break,
right.
For many years. Yeah, we enjoy going there.
So now you haven't always been in politics, right? You had a career before that, which I think you still have.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. So I have been with the company that I'm currently with for about 25 years now.
Okay.
And truly, this was never an aspiration when I was younger to get involved in politics. And it truly came about at a Sunderland Music Festival when some of the parents were sitting there, we were watching our kids perform, and we were discussing concerns that we had with the municipality and our desire to make the community better for our kids. And at that time, my son was, I think, 5 when I was considering that. And after listening to my husband and my father-in-law, who've had a business here for over 40 years,
right,
I really felt that it would be something that I would have a great interest in wanting to grow Scugog to be the best community ever, and a community where my kids want to stay.
Right, to be able to make a difference is important,
absolutely.
And no matter how small it is. I find a lot of people complain about a lot of things that are wrong, but when they have an opportunity to do something and change it, they back off. So, I commend you for going forward and doing it. It's not an easy task, I'm sure, because you're not out to make friends when you're in politics. But if you can get something done, if you can do something that helps the community, it's very important.
No, it's very true. And it's also important, and it's important for my husband and I to show our kids the meaning of giving back to your community. Right. And truly that's where it stemmed from, is how do we make this a great place for our family and for them to want to stay? Right. Showing Sophia and Austin are my kids, showing them the importance of giving back to the community has helped them who they are today. They understand the importance of community and what it means to roll your sleeves up and help.
Absolutely, and especially if you have a business in a community, you have a very vested interest.
Absolutely.
Right? So the industry you were in, full-time sort of thing, is that a technology industry? Or
Yes, it is a technology, but I'm more on the process and project side, so about efficiencies and making sure things work well.
Okay. How did you get into that? I won't ask the name of the company. You're welcome to mention it, but that's up to you. How did you get into that?
So by trade, that's not what I went to school for. I went to school for social work, specializing in gerontology. But by chance, I ended up being asked if I wanted to work there over the summer before I went off to do further schooling. And I ended up staying there. 25 years later, I'm still there. It's allowed me to work from home. Since my daughter was born, I've been able to work from home. So I was an expert during the pandemic because I was already well aware of how to work from home. But it's allowed me to work as a counselor as well, which has been great.
And that's a tough balance, though, because most of the counselors, I'm sort of running through my mind, but most of them are either retired retired or are not working full-time jobs. Right?
Well, it is very difficult. And I think it's important for municipal government to attract a wide range of ages, of interests, and of background. And it makes it very challenging from a scheduling perspective, but well, you make it work.
You're juggling your job, you're juggling kids, you're juggling a husband who has a business, so he's not around all the time, he's working, and you're doing politics. And the fact that you've been doing it for 10 years does say that you're doing it well. Otherwise, you would have packed it in by now, right? So
I would say that there's so many projects that I still want to see completed.
Right.
That I don't think leaving. I was debating whether I wanted to run again last term, and there were still so many things that we wanted to accomplish that it's just about a balance and making it all work.
And Scugog had an interesting election last time around because there was a lot of there was not a lot of people running, right?
There were 6 of us that were acclaimed.
So that I find that very interesting. One side of the coin says, what's wrong with the public? Don't they want to get out? But the more important message I get from it is that people are happy with the way things are. So if it ain't broke, why fix it? That kind of thing, right?
I think across Ontario, they saw the largest number of acclamations in the past election. And there's 2 sides to that story. One, people don't want to get involved because they can't. They can't, they need to work, they need to have another job, and they can't afford the time. And another one is sometimes it's difficult to put yourself in a position where you're going to be scrutinized by the public, and not everybody wants that.
It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
You should try doing a TV show all the time. And then look at yourself, and it's really scary. So you're not doing it for the money. I thought you guys were paid so well that you didn't have to do anything
Contrary to what some may believe. No, and again, that's another thing that sparks the debate. Do you pay councillors more so that it becomes someone's full-time job? It's a difficult balance to determine whether you pay as we are right now, and you hope that you have an attraction to people that are either able to work from home and balance it both, or are retired, or do you pay them a significant increase, which I'm not sure where we'd be able to find that in the budget, but to pay them a significant increase, and then you have people that are available as a full-time position.
Yeah. It's to me, it's a job that you do because you want to do it.
You certainly don't do this because you want to make money in this. Right. You're doing this because you want to give back to your community.
So were you born in this?
No, I was actually born in Winnipeg.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was there for 5 years, and then I was raised in Mississauga. But I've been in Scugog. My husband's from here.
Right.
I've been in Scugog since 1996.
Okay, we came in 91, so it's not that long after. At Winnipeg, my goodness, that's from Winnipeg to Mississauga. That's quite a switch.
Yeah, and then I came here, and I'm very glad I did.
Good for you. Well, we're glad you're here too, obviously, because you have made a positive impact on the community. And so going back 10 years, like your first run at this rodeo, was it interesting? Were you nervous?
Oh boy!
Because there's a lot of people who will give you reasons why you shouldn't do things, right? There, and you're going to take it personal, no matter who you are. There's personal attacks in politics, and no matter what you want to do or what you think, right? So
there absolutely is, and anyone that says that they don't take notice to comments or critiques that are being made, that would be foolish. I think what you have to remember at the end of the day is the reasons why you're doing it. Right. No matter what job that you do, someone is always going to find fault with what you're doing, and I think if you just keep focused on what your goal is, I would have to say that this has been one of the most, if not rewarding things that I've done in my career. The people that I've met, not saying I wouldn't have maybe met them if our paths didn't cross in other ways, but it is fascinating, the people that we have in our community. And yes, there was many, you're too young at that time. Well, I was 10 years younger. You're too young. You don't know enough about the community. You haven't had a political background. There were so many obstacles, but to me, if you want to do something, you'll figure out a way to do it. And even if I wasn't successful, I would have found a way to continue to work with the community.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, the age to me makes no difference whatsoever. It's all about the integrity, and it's about what you can bring to the table. And a lot of times, and this is a concern, if council is a bunch of retired people, then where is that new blood, that new technology, the things that are happening in the world?
Well, and I think that's a valid point. Yeah. If you have a demographic of retired people on council, their point of view is coming from potentially someone that's already receiving a pension.
Yep.
They're not coming from someone who is trying to build a business or work at a business. Not saying they don't have that experience, but I think it's very important that you have a wide range of voices on around the table. And I would say that this term of council, we really do have that.
You do, because you have people who are very young, like yourself, to people who are a little bit elderly, and we won't mention Terry Coyne's name.
You said it.
So there have been situations that I've seen where councillors can embrace technology like social media, because they just don't know. They started when Facebook was in its infancy and everybody was putting on what they were eating, so they stayed away from that kind of stuff. And things like TikTok is for the younger generation, although I use TikTok all the time. So I think it's good to have that cross section. Now, this is your third council that you've been with?
Yeah.
So you've seen a number of people go through it must be fun when you come back and you've got a couple of newbies that are going to change the world overnight, right?
Well, I think we all start that way. I think we all start with the thought that we can easily make budgets appear, that we can easily fix every road in the municipality. And that's a fair assessment of what we think we can do in a municipality. It takes them very short frame of time in order to realize that unfortunately it's not a magic wand that we have, but it's with good collaboration and good decision making that we can move things forward.
Right. You don't want it to be too easy, because you're talking taxpayers' money, so you have to give it a lot of thought. It has to be processes in place. There has to be there have to be concerns for the future. You can't just do everything.
You really do have to. And I know the public often would like us to vote in a particular way.
Sure.
And I appreciate that, because they're thinking of that siloed topic.
Right.
The point and the job of council is to look at the entire municipality and look at the forecast, look at the 5 years, look at the 10 years, and look at everything and how one decision can really impact future projects.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a break, because we're going to go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you face and some of the things that you really dig your heels into. So please stay with us. We'll be back right after these messages.
Pet Value has a fleet of services to help you and your pets to live their very best lives. Visit Pet Value in Port Perry to discover a world of expertise, friendly staff, and everything you need for your pets. Pet Value, your pet, your store.
Organizing an event, promoting your business, or just need to get noticed? At PP Print, our sale flags, lawn signs, and car branding will get you the attention you need. PP Print, more than just printing.
At Voss, your independent grocer, it's all about hometown living and shopping. Owned and operated by Terry and Christine Voss, their newly renovated Port Perry store carries many local items to support our town and its residents.
Welcome back. My guest today is Janna Guido. Janna, welcome back. So we had talked a lot about your life prior to today as part of council and your career. You're also really heavily involved in hockey. So I assume that's because your kids play hockey?
My son does. Austin plays hockey. And again, that's something that just kind of happened.
Right.
A friend who was on the existing hockey board said that there was an opening and they were looking for someone else. And I thought, well, I already have 2 jobs. I might as well join the board as well.
Right, because they're all well-paying jobs,
that
right?
That is another well-paying job that gives me nothing but gratitude.
Yeah.
And then as it turned out, I think I've been on the board 6 years now, North Durham Minor Hockey Board. It's an amalgamated hockey association between Port Perry and Uxbridge.
Okay.
And a few years ago, our president left and no one else was putting their hand up.
Right.
So I am a glutton for punishment, and I
here you
have
are.
been in that position ever since. And that's another task that truly is rewarding.
Right.
Though it comes with lots of headaches, but.
Of course. But it's also an education for your other jobs, right? Because when you're, I think the biggest part in business, no matter what element you're in, is dealing with people.
Yep.
You can learn the job quite easily. It's just a matter of learning it. But dealing with people, it's never the same. No two faces are the same. So if you're in a position where you're, and hockey has got to be a stressful element because you got parents who are blaming you for everything that's going wrong.
But I've always said your message is how you deliver it, not really what you say.
Right.
And I think that holds true for any job that I have, and even dealing with people. It's you can say
Right.
something and in a nice way, or you can say it in a way that's not going to be received well.
Right. So what sort of issues in the hockey world do you face?
Well, many issues, such as we are preventing many kids from making the NHL based on either a coach selection or their child not making a particular team.
Right.
But like every other association, we always face issues with getting volunteers.
Right.
We typically don't have a problem getting our representative hockey coaches, but our house league, we do struggle with getting house league coaches and people just to stay on the board.
Yeah.
Very often we have people leaving our hockey board after a few years, which is unfortunate because you build that relationship and that knowledge. So the turnover, like anything else, is high.
Yeah. And I imagine the pandemic didn't help that either, right?
Oh gosh, no, it didn't help it at all. We had to move to removing the representative aspect from the hockey and just do basic. When we were allowed to enter the arena, just do basic skills on the ice. We weren't allowed to compete. And then once we moved into a phase where we were able to go back to games, the protocols just to get into an arena were very difficult for many.
So is this long-term for you? Like your son's not going to play hockey forever unless he's going to join the NHL?
He thinks he's playing hockey forever.
Okay.
He has 2 more years left. No, I probably will stay there as long as I need to before someone else is wanting to jump into the presidency role. And I would happily pass that torch down to anyone that is looking to get involved.
And your daughter is not into hockey?
No, she's never been into hockey.
Okay.
No.
So is she into other stuff that you're going to take volunteerships there?
No, she's in university now.
Is she really?
Yes, she is. She just completed her first year. Actually, her 19th birthday is tomorrow, and I started when she was 9. So the growth, just looking back at pictures of when I first started to now, my kids have certainly grown up. But no, I'm not necessarily involved in anything with her.
Where is she going to university?
University of Ottawa.
Oh, nice. Is that called? Oh, University of Ottawa.
Yeah.
You will. And is she going to follow in her mother's footsteps and go into politics? She's doing political science?
Probably not. Her aspiration is to be a high school history teacher.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
History is great.
She loves history, and a lot of it comes back to when we were talking about going to Italy a lot. She would always be asking to go to Pompeii and look at the ruins and look at the castles. So she has a love of the ancient history.
Oh, that's great. So tell me about the deputy mayorship. So I get what a councillor does, but as a deputy mayor, do you fill in for the mayor whenever
So
she
I
can?
do, yes.
Yeah.
So the point of the deputy mayor is to act instead of the mayor. So whenever the mayor is unable to attend an event that has had a mayor request to attend, I would attend. If she's away on vacation or ill, then I would lead council meetings.
Right.
So it's there to fill in should she not be able to.
Okay. And obviously it's a grooming too, just in case you wanted to become mayor one day, right?
One could look at it that way,
One
but for the record, I am very thrilled with Mayor Watton, and I would never run against Mayor Watton.
The progression seems to be that it's from councillor to regional councillor to mayor. That doesn't mean it has to be that way, but that seems to be the process.
I think it's important that you are able to understand every level of government.
Right.
The regional councillor sits at the region of Durham, and they have a whole other understanding of the budget and council meetings.
Right.
It's no longer a council meeting of 7, it's a council meeting of many. I think it just assists with whomever is choosing to run for mayor. I think it would help with that knowledge base.
It's like working for a small company and then working for a large corporation, right? You get a totally different perspective, and a perspective that's very important. So yourself personally, obviously you enjoy politics. Would you ever consider doing it on a different level, like a provincial level or a federal level or anything like that? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, but I mean, clearly with my life, I would never say never with anything.
Right.
But right now, I work full time as well. So until that situation changes, then I wouldn't be able to spread myself that thin that I would be able to do a federal or provincial level.
Right. But the aspect, if the money was good and you didn't have to do the other job and the kids are gone, you're an empty nester.
Oh my goodness.
It's not out of the question. Is what
I would say it's not out of the question.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to pin you down. I'm really not. I'm just curious as to, if you enjoy politics, then it's something you can stay with. And if God forbid you would not get reelected sometime in the future, there are other avenues that you can pursue.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And the hockey thing may not last forever either, as much as you love that.
That gig may not last forever, no.
What does the future hold for like, you obviously like to travel, but, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
5 years from now, probably exactly where I am right now.
Good.
My son will be in university at that point. My daughter will still be in university at that point.
Right.
And my husband is still wanting to work.
People must give you a lot of feedback and input, right? Because you're Ward 2, which is a pretty hectic, busy ward. So it's a very large ward that you look after, and you say significant changes in that. I'm assuming that means development.
Development, yes. My ward, Ward 2, has seen significant development occur in the last 5 years.
When you say development, we're talking about building houses.
Houses,
right?
Yeah.
So I imagine when you have a housing development, you're going to have people who are really excited and a few people who are not too excited about it, right?
The majority of people that voice their opinion to me are the not too excited.
Well, of course. I mean, if everybody's happy, they're not going to say anything.
Very true.
It's only the ones. We get the same thing. We were talking earlier off camera that the people who comment on my show are the ones who are telling me what's wrong with it, sort of thing, right?
Correct.
So you get that everywhere. But housing is important. You need to grow a community. Scugog is a tourism community, so we have to grow that element. There's no question about it, right? I think what the concern is from those that have expressed it to me. The concern seems to be that the feel of the small town may be lost. Yep. And I appreciate that. Yep. I absolutely appreciate that. Unfortunately, with the provincial government encouraging, if not requiring, the growth of intensification, we as a municipality are very much restricted as to how we can say yes or no to things. Yep. So overall, the concern has been the size of the development and how the development's going to look. Right. And then especially we have a development beside Canadian Tire that has been stagnant for many years. Right, I've noticed that.
King's Landing. And again, that becomes a concern. And I think what the public need to understand is that it's not the township that's holding these things up. Sometimes it's just the development itself.
Of course.
The developer may change their mind. They may run out of money. Yep. Those are some of the issues as well.
Or they can't sell
Correct.
properties, right? No, I understand all that. But there's also the element of infrastructure. Like, it's great to build a subdivision, but if you can't transport the people to the downtown core to go shopping, they're going to go somewhere else to go shopping, right? That sort of thing. Yeah. There's a water issue. There has to be water coming out of the tap when you turn it on. So it's a never-ending process. But I'm sure, and I could be wrong, but I'm sure the complaints you get are about, well, I've got a nice farmland behind me. I don't want a house there, to dust it and blah, 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 and so forth.
A lot of those concerns are what comes forward. And someone once said, if you want the view, you need to buy the view. And unfortunately, that's a hard message to hear. Yeah. But if it's a privately owned piece of property, and it's zoned for development, unfortunately, at some point in time, it likely will be developed. Having said that, living through a construction site as an existing homeowner is very challenging. And,
of course.
And I've been engaged multiple times with developments. And honestly, I'm glad that the residents come and let me know where the concerns are so that the township can work with the developers.
I mean, the developers that I know of are pretty reasonable and pretty concerned about the community and keeping it intact. But there's always going to be issues. There's going to be a lamppost that's going to be put up right beside somebody's bedroom window that they didn't expect, and things like that. And I don't think that's ever going to end. But we do need to grow as a community, as a country, because we keep bringing people into the country, and we have to put them somewhere.
Very true.
And affordable housing is a topic I don't want to get into. I had that conversation with somebody, and I said, well, every house is affordable, just not by me.
Correct.
So that's a whole other ball of wax. But unfortunately, we're out of time.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's been great. I've learned a lot. I didn't know all this hockey stuff, and I do respect the fact that you're in politics and what you go through. I have a sense of some of the challenges you face. So thank you very much for doing what you do.
Well, thank you. I enjoy it.
And thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And thank you all for joining us. Please watch us every month right here on The Story Behind the Person.
Want to know what's happening in Scugog? News and lifestyle, changes in business, and all the entertainment information you'll ever need. Plus, each edition has a new photos and travel article. Look for your next copy in your mailbox.
Whether it's need to know information, local politics, charity fundraisers, or simply fun community events, we have you covered year-round. We are the Standard newspaper,